Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. First up, I just wanted to say thanks heaps to everyone that has been watching. Thanks heaps for everyone that's been commenting. Thanks heaps for everyone that's been liking the videos. I just love chatting about Pokemon investing. So by all means, drop me a line in the comments below. Ask me something, talk to me about something, talk to me about today's topic. I'm going to get back to you. Love chatting about it. But anyway, on to today's topic. So I've heard, I wouldn't say the grapevine, but I've heard a bit around the traps, and I've heard on a few different forums and people talking about it. With Scarlet and Violet, Pokemon investing is dead. Now, I think that can be misconstrued a little bit with the fact that more like Pokemon scalping is dead, because I don't think that was ever sustainable. I don't think that was ever good for the hobby, and I'm sort of glad that's gone. But I strongly think Pokemon investing is not dead. And to back up my argument for that point, I wanted to compare the first two Scarlet and Violet sets with the first two Sword and Shield sets. And I think we might start on the journey of the two base sets. In case you haven't seen them, of course, Sword and Shield base. Geez, when did this come out? 2020? Surely early 2020. And Scarlet and Violet, which was, been 6 months yet? Yeah, it would have been 6 months. January 2023. So I wanted to compare a sort of direct analysis between Sword and Shield base and Scarlet and Violet base, and then also a direct analysis between Rebel Clash, the second set, and Paldea Evolved, the second set from Scarlet and Violet, because I think there's actually more similarities between the two sets than what you think. Like, obviously, the base set for a new era is designed to show off the new region, the new Pokemon, but predominantly the chase cards normally are the 2 or 3 or however many, the legendaries for the set. So Sword and Shield base, of course, you had the gold legends in Zacian and Zamazenta, and Scarlet and Violet base, you had the 2 new legendaries. I'm not even going to bother pronouncing them, but you know what they are. And then Rebel Clash, of course, the second set versus Paldea Evolved, they're both sort of designed to show off the new starters for the set. So what we might do, we might start off with Sword and Shield base. Now, if you have checked out any of my previous videos or recent videos, you'll see that I did this whole Sword and Shield top 10 cards versus the booster box price. So luckily for me, the top 10 cards are sitting sort of fresh inside my mind. So the top 10 hits add up to $216. We'll get to have a look at the hits in a minute. And the booster box price I'll bring up on the screen now, current booster box price, $295 US. $295 US for the, Australian dollars. I don't think you'll get much change out of $500 now. If you search this up on eBay, like, it's becoming a little bit scarce, which is weird because it was only 3 months ago that I went into the local Target here and you could still buy Sword and Shield base blisters for $6. But anyway, you could have bought 36 of them and it would have been a touch over $200, or you can buy a booster box for 500-ish, it seems, at the moment. So booster box price currently, that's moved pretty north. Now, what I mean by when I said at the start, I don't think you should be worried or alarmed with Pokemon investing being dead, particularly with Scarlet and Violet, because it's copping some heat. Prices have gone up. MSRP's gone up for both booster packs and both booster boxes. Like the packs in Target, I think they're still, or Kmart here in Australia, it's $6 for Sword and Shield packs or $7 for a Scarlet and Violet pack. Booster boxes online, you used to sort of pick up a new box for $170, and now it seems to be $195 to $200 for the new Scarlet and Violet one. So it sort of copped some heat saying, entry price has gone up. Is investing in the sets dead? And no, it's not, because, and this is why I wanted to compare them, because they are not worse sets than Sword and Shield base and Rebel Clash. And look at the performance of both of those. So continuing on with Sword and Shield, if you're looking at the top hits in the set, right, your main hit is the Marnie. What is that going for? About $85, I think. And your second main hit is the Rainbow Snorlax for $31. And like I was saying before, you're sort of showcasing the gold cards, the legends, Zacian, Zamazenta. So up on the screen here, 2 gold legend cards, what are they going for? I think they're about 15 bucks each. So, you know, they're not going for much at all. Now, let's move along and start comparing Sword and Shield base to Scarlet and Violet base. Because my opinion is Scarlet and Violet is a better base set, although it's not a, I'm not saying it's a good set overall, I'm saying it's a better base set than Sword and Shield base. Now, the top 10 cards currently don't quite equal the top 10 cards of Sword and Shield base, and you could also argue in this analysis or comparison that Scarlet and Violet still has, both Scarlet and Violet and Paldea Evolved still have boxes to be opened, and therefore there's going to be more supply of singles on the market, and we could see prices dip. I get that, and it's probably, out of the two sets, I think it's more likely to happen with Paldea Evolved, given it's such a fresh set. It's not even probably 3 months old compared to Scarlet and Violet, which is now 6 months old. But top 10 hits of Scarlet and Violet roughly equal about $200. Booster box price, however, currently picked them up for about 96 US, which in Australian, I think, I don't know if I've seen them that cheap. It sort of equates to about $160 if you compare that Australian. They seem to be a bit dearer here for some reason. I got my box quite recently. I think I paid about 175, 180 maybe, 175, which is okay. I don't mind. You know, it's not as cheap as what we used to get Sword and Shield boxes, but 175, 180, I'm okay with that. So, box price and top 10 hits. Let's have a look at the main hits. Of course, the big hit or the main chase card's the Miriam, $49. Gardevoir EX, second main chase card, only at about $25. And of course, like Sword and Shield base did, it's showcasing the two new legendaries, which both have quite a neat looking old art. Actually, I pulled one the other day. Sorry to jump out of frame. Looking a bit daggy today just in the track pants. But anyway, I actually pulled one the other day. And yeah, cool looking card. So showcasing the two new legendaries in a special illustration rare or whatever we call them these days. But anyway, they're sort of roughly $20, $25 maybe US. So, you know, to pull, I suppose, one of the legendary chase cards and think this is only worth, I don't even know what this is worth in Australia, I suppose 40, 50 bucks, something along those lines. Now, I'm not going to rank them or score them, but I do think Scarlet and Violet base, particularly with those new illustration rares and different new rarities that are coming into the game, Miriam's a beautiful looking card. I do think Scarlet and Violet base is a bit stronger than Sword and Shield base. Now, moving on, next two. The second set, which is sort of continuing on the new region, so Rebel Clash and Paldea Evolved, and continuing on with the new 3 starters. If you look at, let's take a look at Rebel Clash first. So currently, the top 10 cards are priced at about $187. So I think when I did that analysis across the Sword and Shield era, Rebel Clash had the lowest hits, like the lowest price for the top 10 hits out of any Sword and Shield set. Like, there is not a great deal of good cards in that set. The box price currently $216, which is it's a weird sort of comparison. $216 for the box. Now the hits, geez, what are you really chasing in this set? And that's the weird thing. Even if you pulled all top 10 hits out of the one box you bought, you still haven't even got your money back for the box price yet. But I think Sonya, #1 chase card, probably my favourite card from the set, which is Boss's Orders. That's actually a nice looking card. Then the 3 starters, of course, get a bit of love in here in rainbow form, but they're not worth much. You're looking around sort of, I think the Cinderace is worth the most, but you're looking at sort of $10 for the fire. For the water and leaf starter, and you're looking at it's sort of $15 for Cinderace. So not a lot of love for poor Rebel Clash. Now let's compare it to Paldea Evolved. And like I said before, it's pretty clear that Paldea Evolved is a very fresh set. There's going to be more supply. Could well be reprinted. Singles prices could drop, but currently top 10 hits from the set equal $315, and box price is currently sitting at $99 US. I haven't bought any yet. I picked up, and I'll just put one on display. If you've noticed, it's a little bit different. I've just put my Paldea Evolved Elite Trainer box on display. I picked up a few of those for a bit of a deal, but I'm sort of waiting. I think the box price in Australia will come down a little bit here. I think it's currently $195. Geez, you might be able to get one for $190, maybe at the cheapest, but I sort of want to see if it comes down. Scarlet and Violet base sort of come down at $175, $180 price. That's where I'd like to maybe pick some up. So I'm sort of waiting for that to happen. If there's another print run. So anyway, we'll wait and see. But currently, box price, $99. Your top hits, Iono, of course, as the main hit, which is still a smidgen above $100. I do expect this to dip a little bit in the coming months. Magikarp, just a touch under $50, $46. And the three starters, as I mentioned, that's sort of the whole plan. It was the plan of Rebel Clash, show off the new region a little bit more and the starters, and the plan of Paldea Evolved, show off the region a little bit more and the three starters. Actually similarly priced to Rebel Clash. I think they're much nicer looking cards in this illustration rare sort of form. But you're looking sort of $10 to $15 for those three starters. Now, I just wanted to make mention of Paldea Evolved, particularly in comparison to Rebel Clash, because Sword and Shield base isn't that bad. Like, it's not great, but it's not awful. Like, the Marnie's a good chase card. You got the Rainbow Snorlax VMAX, the Gold Legends are nice looking cards. I think Scarlet and Violet only just pips it in terms of a base set, but I do think it's a slightly better base set. But Rebel Clash and Paldea Evolved, I think, are chalk and cheese. And here's a couple of reasons for my argument. I mean, look at these two cards. The Sleeping Raichu, the Godzilla-like Tyranitar. These are both damn nice looking illustration rares. And I can tell you now, you didn't get anything like this in Rebel Clash. Rebel Clash, the artwork is boring in comparison to Paldea Evolved. If anyone wants to tell me that Rebel Clash is a better second set than what Paldea for Sword and Shield than what Paldea Evolved is second set for Scarlet and Violet, I would love to have that argument out with you, because I just don't think it's as good. Paldea Evolved trumps it in every form. And now look at the price. So when people say, Scarlet and Violet's gone up, is it going to continue? Like, its retail price is up. Is it going to continue to move up? Is investing in these new Scarlet and Violet sets, bar maybe 151 dead? I don't think so. Definitely not. Give it time. Look at Rebel Clash. I can tell you now, when that set was launched in, when was it? Maybe March or April or something, 2020. It was cheap. And it was still pretty cheap at the end of 2020. And it was still pretty cheap at the start of 2021. And it was still pretty cheap at the end of 2021. If you missed the board and didn't sort of pick up a Rebel Clash booster box by the start of 2022, that's when it started moving north. Like, I noticed, box prices sort of shifted to $250 Australian dollars, I'm talking now. And then by the end of 2022, you were sort of $280, $290. And now, you're probably not going to get any change out of $300, or maybe even a touch more now that we're midway through 2023. So my point is, even arguably the worst set of Sword and Shield, and I think you can pretty fairly make that statement, even the worst set of Sword and Shield has moved up to about 300 Australian a box from, what was it, 170, 175 when it was launched. So it hasn't 2x'd its money, but it's not far off it. So, hey, if Paldea Evolved is still $190 a booster box in 3 years' time, or a touch over, like the sort of the time frame we're in with Rebel Clash now, I will go back to this video and eat my words, I guess. But the whole point that I'm trying to make here is, don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Pokemon investing in Scarlet and Violet is not dead. They're actually, I was a bit unsure about them, especially, and I'll tell you what, especially because we come off this incredible high with the last Sword and Shield sets with these amazing artworks. The alt arts were just incredible. Crown Zenith was a real bang to finish off Sword and Shield, and it felt like we've just sort of, escalated to this top echelon, and then all of a sudden we've pulled back a little bit in Scarlet and Violet. Like things have almost gotten a little bit worse. But that's why I wanted to bring up the comparison of comparing them to the first two Sword and Shield sets, because where we started in Sword and Shield was not fantastic. So I think across time, things are only going to get better for the Scarlet and Violet. And we can see that. Obsidian Flames, that Charizard, some people hate it, some people love it. I actually think it's a gorgeous looking card. I think it's incredible. It's going to look awesome in the flesh. We've got 151 coming along. Things are only going to get better across the Scarlet and Violet era, I imagine. And I can tell you now, I think both the base set's a little bit better than Sword and Shield base set, and Paldea Evolved far outweighs and far trumps Rebel Clash base set. So don't be scared. Rebel Clash, the second set from Sword and Shield. So my point is, don't be scared. Don't be scared of investing in these new Scarlet and Violet sets. But keep in mind, you will have to hold them. I think if we look and reflect on both Sword and Shield and Rebel Clash, if they're not the best sets from the era, you will have to probably hold them for at least 2.5, 3 years minimum before you start seeing a real uptick. And the reason for that is because supply starts to dwindle. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. Would love to hear from everyone down in the comments. Love chatting about Pokemon investing. Again, cheers.